back to the poem. A stupid man and an undisciplined one laughs at everything. He hasn't learned a lesson that would do him good. He himself isn't flawless.
So I looked at this one, and then I also looked at Larrington, and Larrington has more of a laughing at everything in a like they're making fun of people type of way, and which is what you get learning a lesson that would do him good. He himself isn't flawless. So it's that person that is constantly ragging on other people, and there's sort of a way to like make fun of people that's jovial and funny, and like it builds camaraderie. And then there's a way to do it to like really like tear someone down, and they're talking about tearing someone down, and because they haven't realized that, you know, they aren't flawless themselves. And if they were smart, they would realize that and then cut some slack for other people, because when their flaws are going to be pointed out, they're going to come for them and, you know, really break them down.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Is that you know, if you criticize others this much, you leave them openings, and I mean, it's not going to be in fun at that point, because you have injured some other person. They are going to, you know, want to point out all your flaws. I mean, the best example, really, I think, is, you know, the parable that Jesus told. You know, of the person who is worried about the speck in his brother's eye when he in fact had a plank in his own, right? And so it's like, set your house in perfect order before criticizing others, right? So that's another rule, guys.
Yeah, we should have a counter, like Jordan Peterson rules. Oh, here's another one.
That's the other drinking game, guys.
Yeah.
Except don't.
Again, we don't want to be responsible for any alcohol poisoning.
No.
And I guess as we've learned, we wouldn't be responsible for it. It would be you. So, yeah.
Goes completely counter to everything we've been talking about. So don't do that, guys. No, but okay, again, here it's really just don't criticize others, because you have flaws yourself. For
sure. And like, don't be a jerk. It's no one benefits from always ragging on someone in a mean way, and it's not good on a interpersonal level, but it's not good for the tribe as a whole or the society, because you're just building animosity and conflict. And especially when, you know, back in the day when you're trying to eke out a living, you don't need to have fights within the tribe, because you're fighting the elements in nature enough that you're probably going to die anyway. Like, you don't need to be fighting the battle internally as well. So I think it's really just an injunction to be like, don't be a jerk, because you don't need it. And there are things about you that annoy people, but they are mature enough to let it go.
True. And I mean, I think the other point about that, about the good of the group, right? There are some cases where it's good to provide constructive criticism.
For sure.
But it completely takes the legs out from under you if you are telling someone, you know, do as I say, not as I do, sort of thing. Completely takes the legs out from under you in that situation, because if you're telling someone to do what you can't be bothered to, or that you have trouble with yourself, that doesn't look great.
No.
Right? So if at the very minimum you approach it with humility again, and maybe you're with the perfect with enough self-understanding to say, hey, I have trouble with this too, but maybe it would be better for us all if we could just both try and improve ourselves in this way. That comes across a lot better than saying, hey, you're just useless and worthless. Ha ha ha.
You always have been, always will be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then they can fling that right back at you, and then there's a fight, and no one's happy.